aviation enthusiasts, frequent flyers, and professionals. Hello, and welcome back to Air Talk. It has been a while, but we are now back on air. Welcome to the studio. Today, we are going to examine two of the world's most amazing aircraft ever made. The Airbus A380 on one hand, the 777X on the other. Our airwaves today brings us back to Dubai. Why? Because in November, one of the most important events for the aviation industry took place in the UAE. I'm of course referring to the Dubai Air Show. Unfortunately, one of the biggest takeaways was this. Gulf carriers are struggling with their A380 fleet. You see, airlines like Emirates usually decide to retire their aircraft after 14 years, and that aligns with broader industry commitments to maintaining modern and efficient fleets. They are pivotal in navigating the dynamic aviation landscape in the safest and most efficient way. Unfortunately, there is no replacement for the A380. And this is why the Boeing 777X is slowly gaining traction. For the past few years, it was seen as somewhat of a failure, not really gathering the orders it should. But this has switched. Emirates, the leading A380 operator, but also the leading 777 operator in the world, has decided to grow their backlog and now has over 200 777Xs on order. This is a substantial commitment that signals potential industry-wide shift towards the twin jet, challenging the historical dominance of the A380 in the super jumbo category. Emirates needs to transition their fleet, but this transition is facing significant hurdles. There are delays in the certification of the Boeing 777X, meaning it will realistically only enter service in 2025. This had an impact on the A380 operations, which are now delayed way into the 2030s, and will require a coexistence period whilst the airline shifts from the old hub and spoke system to a more point-to-point travel-based system. This is clearly demonstrated in the airline's revised fleet strategy. They used to operate 777s and A380s only, which really helped feed the entire Dubai hub. But now that the A380's role is being put into question, Emirates is diversifying its fleet again, adding in A350s and 787s, which will serve smaller airports in Europe and Asia. And the 777X is the perfect gap in between because it can satisfy long and thin routes with loads of demand and routes with less demand without any infrastructure needs. The airline will be able to really explore the full extent of its fleet. And if Emirates is successful, we will probably see more 777X being ordered, because that means that smaller airlines that operate medium-sized hubs such as Air France may have the confidence to go full on and exploit the 777X. A lot of airlines already have the traditional 777s, so there will not need to be any additional long periods of crew training, only some kind of adaptation. So I believe the A380 will continue to survive until the 777X will enter service, but then other airlines will probably jump in. If Emirates is successful, then others will follow in, because transitioning from a 777-300 to the 777X is a lot easier for crews in terms of training than transitioning from the 777 over to the A380, and will offer similar capacity whilst being able to respond to the infrastructure limits certain airports poses on. The 777X is the ultimate new super jumbo because it is a fit for today's aviation landscape. Congested airports with limited space but need for huge capacity. The A380 could not respond, and even if it's delayed, the 777X is Boeing's answer to this and answers perfectly to the needs of the airports, of the airlines, of the environment, and will become the new super jumbo and the ultimate king of the skies. But until it is certified and until airlines have tried and tested it, the A380 will continue to prevail. It is now time for us to take off this podcast has come to an end. I wish you all a happy Christmas and a happy New Year, and we shall see each other in the next year. Over and out.